they don't go together. So I had to run back to the hardware store, put these together, and then I made a second mistake. To mount these, I have to drill a hole We'll run wire over it first, and then we'll hook the pipe. As you can tell, different shirt means different things. We're down to my last 4 inches around and run a loop between the two with this project. So this is pretty well the finished product. Yeah, I've crawled. And then we got rain and got cold. So, based upon that. Hey guys, this is Ty with Barking Squirrel Homestead. Hey, so we got a project we're working on today. We want to invite you along to kind of watch us as we do this. So we bought some baby chicks. You've probably seen those in a couple of other videos. We got meat birds. They're a Cornish cross. They're a broiler. They grow extremely fast, and they have already outgrown the brooder that we have them in, and I'll show you some footage of that here in just a little bit. But they are just like a couple of weeks old, and they already are like big, small melons. So they've outgrown that. We need to get them outside to finish feeding them out. We're going to be grass feeding them. As I've said before, we do non-medicated feeds. We try to go as organic as possible when we're feeding our animals. And so when I'm done, I'll kind of explain everything that we have done. If you have any questions, feel free to put those down in the comments. All right, so made a couple of errors. First error was we got the wrong fittings for the pipe. When I purchased the fittings, I got 3-inch fittings and 3-inch pipe, but the fittings were for thin wall, the pipe was thick wall Schedule 40, which is what I wanted, but they didn't go together. And so I had to run back to the hardware store and get the proper fittings, and we got all that, we got back, and I put these together, and then I made a second mistake. If you look over here, you can see these sweeping T's, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I've got those glued on already on this piece, which is the front end of the chicken tractor, or sled. The problem is I was supposed to glue on that pipe, I was supposed to glue the sweeping side of the pipe to it, and I mistakenly glued one of the ends to it, as you can see. And so what I'm going to do, it works out because one of my cutoff pieces is exactly the same length as that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that, because I needed that anyway. I'm going to cut this pipe just a little bit and create an area where I can put an end cap on. And the end cap is going to provide an ability for me, if we have really high winds or in situations that I need it, I can open it up and fill it with sand to weight it down, and then put the cap back on it, and also be able to take the cap off if water gets down inside, and I'll explain why that might be a possibility here later on, but be able to drain it out. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this off with about 3 or 4 inches hanging off of the end of that those T's, and then we'll get those glued back up on the other pipe and continue the build. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, you can kind of see the frame as it's set up. That'll be the base of the sled. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take pipe and we're gonna put it over the top. But to do that, I've got to set some T's down here at those spots, those purple marks that I put on there. Maybe, I don't know if you can see them from that distance, but I'm gonna put T's in each one of those and get those secured down, and then we'll be able to bend the pipe over. We're gonna use 3/4 inch T's so that they're stronger, and strap them down. I'm gonna run pieces of 3/4 inch PVC in between each of the T's, just so we maintain strength for it, and we don't wear out the fasteners. I'm gonna use zip ties on this, and I may even, still haven't decided, but I may put some self-tapping screws down inside the T's, down into this other pipe as well. But to mount these, I have to drill a hole on each side of the T's to be able to put the straps through, the zip ties through, to be able to hold them down. So I may pop a screw into the bottom of them, fasten that first, and then drill the holes and affix them that way. Plus I'll need to cut down the 3/4 inch PVC to be able to put in between each one. So what I'll do is I'll mount the T's in place, and that way I know they're secure. I'll cut the pipe to the length that I need for each piece, and then I will pull a screw out, be able to glue them together and do that. I may not even glue those because none of this is under pressure. That's why you don't see me using a cleaner or anything. It's not under any kind of pressure, so I don't have to be too methodical about the gluing of it. So with these being in place and being screwed down, I may just stick the pipe together on the 3/4 inch and let that ride. All right, so just show you kind of what we've done here up close. So again, there's going to be a cap right there on the end of there, and that will be able to be taken off. The rest of this is all glued up on the base, and that way it won't come apart when we're moving it. These I did not glue in here because these are screwed down. It's not like they're going to come apart. And what I did, well, if you can kind of see, if it'll focus in there, you can see the head of the screw. I just ran self-tapping screws down into the PVC, so that creates a hole there. I was actually going to run a hole on each side of these T's right here and run like a zip tie over it on both sides of it for each one, but I think that's overkill. I think these screws are probably plenty to do what I needed to do. So now this is 3/4 inch and this pipe is 3/4, but this up here off the T is 1/2 inch, and that's what this is for. These I got 1/2 inch because it's a lot more pliable. 3/4 is not going to make the bend that I needed to make. These are 10-foot sticks, and we're stretching 5 feet. That's 5 feet across, and so it'll be a 5 foot wide at the base, arched top, and then we'll run one piece across the top, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. But that blue tape's really just to kind of hold it onto the sawhorses while we're building it, so I don't have to be bent down on the ground doing the work. But anyways, that's what we're working on right now. I'm gonna get some help and get Sarah over here to help me, and we're gonna get these 1/2 inch pieces put into here. Now, like I said, I didn't glue these. I'm gonna go ahead and glue these pieces though. That way these don't get pulled out by predators or by the wind as it whips on it. So stay tuned. Okay, I guess I forgot to push record on the putting the arches in there, but I was able to get the arches put into place. Those are glued in. You can see all of them there in place. What I'm going to do now is take another piece of this pipe and put it up at the top, start at the very top in the front and get it centered, go to the back and tie it off. And I'm just going to zip tie it with a crisscross with 2 zip ties, and I'm going to use black zip ties. My understanding is, don't quote me on this, but my understanding is these are a lot better at resisting sunlight and not deteriorating as quick as like clear ones would or white ones would. And so I'm going to use these black ones, but we're going to put this pipe up there, get it zip tied in place, and that will create a little bit of a ridge to help it with swaying and stuff, and also holding the plastic that's going to be over the top, creating a barrier for them. We'll run wire over it first, and then we'll put plastic over top of that, or at least over part of it anyway, to give them a weather barrier. And so we're still kind of figuring that out. You guys will be along for the ride for that. I've got two pieces of this pipe. What I may do is, instead of just running one at the very top, I may just come down and split the difference and put one on either side, and that'll help with keeping it from kind of caving in with water build up and allow it to continue to run off. So that's probably what I'm going to do right now. All right, guys. Well, as you can tell, different shirt means different day. Had a birthday party to go to in Oklahoma, so we are getting back at the chicken tractor. So I'm going to kind of show you what we have set up currently, and then you guys will watch us finish this out, okay? So here's what we have right now. What you can see there, you can see really the structure that we built the other day that was in the videos to this point. I ran this 1/2-inch pipe across the top, 2 of those, and that'll create rigidity for it on the top as well, to keep things from caving in on it. But now we're going to wrap wire, and the wire I got, I didn't want to go with a 2x4 weld wire, because I didn't want their heads sticking through, or chicken hawks to get their heads through, or coons to get their arms through. So I went with this. This is a 1x2, so it's a smaller wire. I also didn't want to go with just regular chicken wire. It tends to be difficult to work with, and I'm all the time stabbing myself with that chicken wire stuff. So it's also a lighter weight. I wanted something a little heavier as well to add to the weight. We want this to be light enough that we can move it with ease, but we want it heavy enough that the wind can't just blow it around. So that's kind of the method behind our madness. So we're going to get started with this and let you guys watch as we finish putting this together. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this T. I had a couple more of these left, so I'm going to put this in the center here, or at least eyeballed. I'm not being exact. We're going to put this down in here. We're going to do the same thing to the back. Okay, so then the plan is we're going to take this 1/2-inch pipe. We had 2 pieces of this left, and we're going to glue that down in there and then tie it off with this top here, and that will give us a rigid piece on the front here as we put the wire across it, just to keep it from flapping or being too loose to where it can get taken apart or broken or anything like that. So it'll make it more secure. So we're just going to glue this into the base down here. I'm putting this screw in here. I'll do one at the back as well. We're going to bring this down and put zip ties around it to tie it together, and that'll hold the zip ties in place and keep it from sliding around. I may end up having to put a couple of them in it. You got those zip ties with you? Screw this down so it doesn't dry out. I think I'm gonna have to put a screw on the top of, on that other pipe as well. Yep.
The back of it?
Yeah. Something else to keep in mind is make sure if you're using zip ties like we are, use the ones that have the plastic tongue inside of the zip tie, because if you have the one that has the metal, that metal will rust over time and it doesn't take very long, and then that'll fail on you. So use the plastic ones if you have the opportunity to. So go around here. All right, couple more zip ties. So do that, and then what we'll do is, if you come in close, so we'll take these zip ties and we'll spin them down like this before we cut them off. And the reason for that is, as we put this, once we put the wire on here, one, we don't want the wire catching on those, kind of being a pain in the butt messing with it, but two, when we go to put plastic over the back end of it, if we leave these up, it'll cut that plastic, and then we're replacing the plastic every time we get any kind of rain or heavy wind coming through. So we're just going to spin these down, that way they're out of the way before we cut them off. Okay guys, so we coming down to the wire, no pun intended, but we're down to my last, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zip ties. So we're going to be able to get this back piece secured. Say hi, Peyton. That's her new bedroom. We're going to put her outside. No, not really. Not really. But anyways, one thing we do have a problem with is the wire ended up being 36 inches wide, and I am off by just a couple inches. You can kind of see a gap right there. That shouldn't be a big deal because, like I said, these are 1x2s, so it's going to be the gap of what one of these is. So we're going to probably take some weld wire that I've got and run every maybe 4 inches around and run a loop between the two pieces and tie them together, and then we'll zip tie all this to the PVC along this ridge, each of these ridges, and across the top up there. That way it'll be nice and secure and shouldn't be an issue at all. But that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use these last few to finish buttoning this back section up. But you can see how we ran it across the bottom, just tying it in at the bottom and zip tying it. So we're going to finish that out. We ran it just a couple inches long down there so that nothing can crawl up underneath that. So keeping all the critters out. We are running out of wire. I've only got about another 4 foot of that wire, so I'm gonna have to pick up some more to finish off the front and the back of it. But other than that, we are just about done with this project. So unfortunately, probably be a couple more days before you guys see this video because I don't want to put it out without it being a done project. So you may not see any more of the build, but you'll see the final project before the video is done. We appreciate the support. We had one video. Most of our videos get 20, 30, 40 likes or at least views, I guess, not likes but views. But we've had one, the Rabbit Me This, that hit over 1.2 thousand. So that was our first one to kind of go pretty good size, and I know that's like nothing in YouTube world for views, but for us that's huge. Considering our next one, that's like 157 views. So help us out. We'd love to see this one go even higher. That's why I've titled it Here Chicky Chicky. So that's it. So we're going to show you real quick before I close this out. I want to make sure you guys get footage of the chickadees that we are running out of space in the brooder for. So you guys can look at them. They are getting big. They're starting to put that under hair on that'll be underneath their feathers. They're growing their wing feathers out. So they're doing pretty good. We've got to clean the brooder out. It's due for that today, but they're eating a ton of food, drinking a bunch of water, and really thriving, doing well. And so we're going to get this finished up and get them outside. You guys will see that. Thanks, guys. No. So Sarah is stuck. This is pretty well the finished product. I'll give you guys a quick little picture of it. Sorry about the wind, but this is, you can see we put the tarp on it, covering about 2/3 of it, and maybe a little more. Wraps all the way around the back, goes to the bottom. But we cut this hole here, and we were just testing to see getting in and out of it, and Sarah got in there. So now she got to get out, and we're going to watch her do that. Come on, Sarah.
This is not going to end well.
I wouldn't advise that. Just experience tells me that's not a good idea.
Just experience?
Yeah, I've crawled in some tight spots.
No, now my mother's here to see it.
Yeah, Mama just pulled up.
It's not going to be okay.
There you go.
Ow! Oh.
I'm going to run some like foil tape around the edges of it.
Okay.
We're just testing to see if we can get in and out of there to move the chicks around when we need to capture the chicks. Because if we pick the thing up, the chicks are gone. Like, they're going everywhere. We have to be able to get in there and get them. So, all right. We'll show you guys what it looks like in place. Okay, so I think we're on day 5, maybe 6. I don't know. Ran out of time. Everything started running together. Then we got rain and got cold. So, anyways. The chicken tractor is done and the chicks are in it, so I'm going to here to show you that. And there they are. All the chicks, they are loving it. They're outside now. You got one that's kind of chilling back there, but they're already pecking at the ground and eating the grass and the bugs and all that good stuff. Here's what I did. I've got a rope out here that's for pulling it. This thing pulls super easy. It's nice and lightweight, but it's strong enough and heavy enough. We actually had like 50-mile-an-hour winds the other night in that storm, and it didn't move in the driveway out front. So it was sitting on concrete and it didn't even budge with the wind blowing against it. So it's heavy enough to sustain that. We've put this just a door. You see the duct tape, and there's actually underneath the duct tape is a foil tape like HVAC guys and plumbers will use. But we put that around the edge of that to kind of soften it on the outside of the door, but then also on the inside, because crawling in and out of it, the metal was kind of scraping my daughter up. So, but anyways, they're doing really well. We've got about 2/3 of it covered with the tarp, so they got plenty of room to get out of the weather. We are fighting the dog already. He wants to get to him. He's already tried, but they should be pretty secure. I mean, he could, if he's big enough, strong enough, if he wanted to fight it enough, he could find a way in there. So we just have to keep him pinned up while we've got him here. But that's the chickens. About probably 5-6 weeks, and they will be ready to butcher. We got some exciting news to share with you. However, I'm not ready to do that. So cliffhanger moment. You're going to like it. I can promise you that. Based upon the videos, that video that I said earlier was like 1.2 thousand, like we're up over 1,500 views. It may be higher than that by now. So based upon that, and that's your hint as to what the news is about, but you guys will have to stay tuned till the next video to see what that's all about. So thanks you guys for watching. Again, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you can get up to date with new content. Make sure you like the videos, share them. We're trying to grow this channel up, so we appreciate you guys, those of you that are watching and being faithful already, and we're excited to see what the future holds with what God does in our lives. As always, if you ain't in the Word, get in the Word. I love you. God loves you. Bye.